Shannon. Jump on in here. Whose side are you on, Lamar's or Pollard's?
Skip, it's not about being on anybody's side, but Bernard Pollard has made some points that I've made on this very show.
You have.
Skip, Lamar Jackson makes it seem like this is the first time he's hearing someone says that they don't believe he can deliver a Ravens the championship because of his inability to throw the football from the pocket. And that this run-based offense and the receivers, there's no receivers going to come there. I think a lot of this has to do with contract negotiations, Skip. It makes for something when you can go to a team and it's like, look, everybody has me rated as a top 5 quarterback. But you want to pay me top 10 money. I want top 5 money.
Yep.
He's outside of the top 10. Lamar is working as his own representative. He and his mom, and I think they might have some close friends as advisors. Skip, this is why I advise you to always get represented, because they're going to tell Lamar what he doesn't want to hear. And you think Lamar, you see how personal Lamar took that? Now imagine that coming from your boss. When they tell you you're not nearly as good as you think you are. And Lamar, here's your numbers throwing from the pocket. Here's your numbers on this situation. Here's your numbers in that situation. And you're going to look at them and tell me, oh, that's how you really feel about me, huh? This is why you have a buffer, Skip, because a lot of times when they say negative things, the agent never brings that back to you. Well, negotiations going kind of tough, but I think we can get them to come around. You know, they love to have you. They love what you do for them. They love what you do in the community. But Lamar doesn't have that buffer. So now he's hearing it, whether he wants to hear it or not, because this is the path that he chose. Skip, this is, I mean, for Bernard, the only thing is Bernard Pollard, he had the chutzpah. I don't know if he was bold enough to put it out on Twitter. He definitely opinionated enough, and Lamar took it. But Skip, Lamar's making it seem these are the very comments that Lamar had labeled on him when he was coming out of college. Now, maybe it had more to do with a former Raven. And maybe that's why a lot of times when I say things, they get upset with me.
That's true.
Bro, you do realize I was a Raven. I was a Raven before Lamar even thought about it, who knew what the hell the Ravens were.
Fact.
I don't have no, I want everybody, especially with the teams that I played for, the Ravens and the Broncos, yes, I openly root for them, absolutely. But I have to be honest. I'm saying I don't believe at this current time, and I'm not to say that he can't get better, but as we sit here and have this discussion, I don't believe Lamar throws the football consistently enough or accurately enough from the pocket to take the Ravens to a Super Bowl. That's all Bernie Pollard said. Now, maybe it was the harshness. Maybe it was the tone or the language in which he used. Maybe it was no top receivers wants to come play in this offense. Whatever the case may be, Lamar took it personal, and then it went and it took off from there.
Yep.
But these takes that Bernard Pollard had, they make it seem like they came out of left field, like nobody has ever heard that before. I can see if all of a sudden he say, man, Lamar can't run. Lamar probably like a 4.6 right now. If he had said that, they're like, what, bro, what you talking about?
Yep.
But that's not what he said. He was talking about what he sees and Lamar's ability to throw the football consistently and accurately from the pocket. That's all. That's what I believe. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe it went somewhere. Maybe they got a personal relationship that you nor I know about, Skip. But that's all I took it from.
I don't think they do.
Well, maybe you're right, Skip, but that's all I took from it. These guys now, Skip, you cannot offer a critique of a player. Now, the 50,000 times that I say something good about a player, they never mention that. It's always the one time, and then all of a sudden, I'm a hater. Hate what? Do you understand? I got that Hager gold jacket. I remember 267.
Yep.
I got 3 Super Bowls. I'm unblemished in Super Bowls. Why would I be jealous? I'm happy for the brother. I'm glad that he proved the doubters wrong because everybody wanted to root the wide receiver or running back. He's dispelled that he could skip. But there are a lot of guys. It doesn't mean that you're not great. You're not a good or a great player if you don't win the Super Bowl. Hell, there have been a lot of great quarterbacks that didn't win the Super Bowl. So Dan Marino was a bum now. Jim McKinley was a bum. Warren Moon was a bum because they didn't win the Super Bowl. A lot of great things have to happen for you to win the Super Bowl. But I don't believe currently with the way Lamar throws the football, the inconsistency in which he displays, I don't believe that's not only thing him personally. I'm talking about his ability.
Absolutely.
Not personally, his ability.
I back you 1,000% on everything you just said. The difference between you and me is that I'm more of a believer in Lamar's ability.
Yes.
His ability to win football games.
Yes.
That's what I critique him on, and it's extremely high to me because all I know for sure is this still young man, he's only 25 years old, did win the MVP in 2019, his second year in the league, and he threw an NFL-leading 36 touchdown passes to only 6 interceptions that year. His QBR of 83 led the whole league.
Yes.
Pretty hard to do. He had 7 rush touchdowns to boot on top of the 36 by air.
Right.
He did that just the way Cam did that. And once you do that, in my mind, you're a made man.
Right.
You did something very, very special that very few humans have done. And now my takeaway last night was I was so disappointed in Lamar Jackson. What is he doing? Stooping. I'm going to use the word stooping to respond to Bernard Pollard. I have respect for Bernard Pollard's career, but not on this level.
Right.
This is beneath Lamar's MVP dignity to not respond once, but respond like 17 times. It just went on and on and on, and it got worse and worse and worse. And Lamar looked worse and worse and worse. He's just better than that. He looked weak to me.
Right.
He looked vulnerable to me. He looked like he's not sure he believes in himself anymore.
Right.
Like he's starting to fight his own personal demons of doubt.
But everything that Bernard Pollard has heard, how many times do you think Lamar...
It's out there. It's been out there for years. To your point, it's been out there from Louisville on.
But guess what's going to happen? Let me tell you how this thing works, Skip. And I get this all the time because I talk to a lot of guys. They feel like if me, Shannon Sharpe, says something about a black player, Shannon, how you going to attack the brother? Yeah. You holding the brother? Bruh, I'm not...
You're going to have to live with that the rest of your born days.
I am. Yep. Skip, all I'm saying is that, hold on, I critique Tom Brady. I critique Aaron Rodgers.
You do.
That's my job. Yep. I'm not talking about Lamar personally.
No.
I'm talking about his ability to throw the football consistently and accurately. Skip, in that game, the game in the Super Bowl, you watched it. It came down to what? Matthew Stafford didn't run. It came down to him throwing the ball. He had to throw one ball. No look.
Almost always it does.
That's what it comes down to, Skip.
Yep, I agree. Okay. Now let's look quickly at Bernard Pollard's career. He played 9 seasons. He made no Pro Bowls. He was a mid-second round pick out of Purdue, grew up in Fort Wayne, Indiana, home of somebody you played with, Rod Woodson, right?
Yep.
So he came from that legacy, but he was 20 years behind Rod Woodson.
Yeah.
And yet, Bernard Pollard became best known, infamously known as the quote-unquote Patriot killer because he was the one who knocked Tom Brady out on opening day of 2008.
It's the Brady rule.
He was, you could also refer to it as the Bernard Pollard rule. You cannot fall into the planted left foot of the quarterback.
Yes.
And then it went on because Wes Welker got carted off as he was trying to avoid a hit from Bernard Pollard. That was the next year. And then,
Houston, Texas. He was at the Texans then.
Yeah.
But I think when he did that, I think he was with the Chiefs when he hit Tom Brady in his knee, if I'm not mistaken, Skip.
I believe he was.
I think he was with the Chiefs, and then he went to the Texans, and then he went to
the next one, he took out Gronk in the 2011 playoffs, and that would have been as a Raven. And then he knocked Stephen Ridley out of a postseason game the following year.
Okay, he was a physical player. He was a very tough.
Very physical.
Yes.
Okay, so he's a tough guy, and I respect his ability to not only play the game, but to see and know the game. I got that. But is he in Lamar's league? No, he's not. And yet, Lamar had a rough year last year, but the Ravens had the rougher year.
Yeah.
They were the most injured team in pro football. I don't care what you say, it was decimation of that
I mean, they
team.
lost, how many guys? They lost Dobbins, they lost Peters. They lost those guys before the season even started. And then you start losing Marlon Humphrey and all these guys. There's only so much you can overcome. I don't care about that next man up. You only got so many next men.
Okay, so Lamar got hurt also. He had a bone bruise in his ankle, and he missed 5 total games, but he missed the last 4 games. He was only 7-5 as a starter, but the team was just blown apart by injuries, and his touchdowns to interceptions fell to 16 touchdowns to 13 interceptions. So he was not very good last year. Neither were they. I do expect them to bounce back healthy this year, and I do expect him to bounce back healthy. But I completely concur on your point. A lot of this thin skin that he's developing is coming from these negotiations, because you and I have discussed this before. The reason you have to pay an agent so much of your check is that they protect you from the onslaught of the negotiation. Because it gets nasty. It gets ugly because both sides are fighting for a plot of ground and a big piece of the salary cap. and the only way the Ravens can fight back is to say, well, wait a minute, how about this and how about that? And it's either Lamar or his mom. They take it personally.
Of course you do.
It's really not personal. It is strictly business.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they've already invested their emotion and their time and their commitment in Lamar, but now they got to invest ungodly fortune.
Because guess what, Skip? What has Lamar heard John Harbaugh say publicly? What has he heard Steve Bisciotti say publicly? Now we get behind closed doors. They're not talking about, I would not rather have any other quarterback than Lamar. I like yada, 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 this and that. All of a sudden, they're saying, telling you all the things that you can't do and what you haven't done. Yeah, you won the MVP, but you remember those 4 or 5 turnovers you had against Tennessee? You remember the following year how bad you played against Buffalo?
Or do you remember you're 1-3 in playoff games, and we are the Baltimore Ravens? And you're 1-3 in the postseason. Okay?
That's what they tell you. They're not talking about, oh, you were a unanimous MVP. Oh, you had a 36 touchdown, 6 interceptions. That's not what you hear in the contract negotiations.
And the other elephant in this room is, Lamar, your shelf life is just not going to be as long as Tom Brady's. You're not going to play until you're 45 because of the way you need to play the game. To me, he's still the most electrifying broken field runner there is in the whole game. You can have all the halfbacks and tailbacks and whoever you want. It's this guy. But this guy's going to get hit more than Tom Brady's going to get hit.
That is correct.
Okay.
But sometimes, Lamar, just let it go. You come out better just not responding. Let it go. Guys, Bernard Pollard is entitled to his opinion. No matter how much we disagree with it, he's entitled to that plot of land.
He is. And to Bernard's credit, on his side of the ledger, Hollywood Brown is very close to Lamar. I mean, they're Miami. Yeah, they're.
He wanted out.
And he wanted out. And so it makes your case, it makes Bernard's case, and it's hard to argue against because he just wanted out.
Yeah. How many top receivers? Look at all the receivers that since Lamar's been the quarterback, how many top receivers have changed teams, said, you know what, the Ravens where I want to be.
Okay, I got it. But in the end, this young man will fight you on the football field. I love what he's made of. He's got gamer baller in him, and he will compete at the highest level. And I still have so much respect for him and what his near future will be that he should have just ignored this and gone on. This is showing a little crack in the armor here a little bit.
Guys, the Ravens open up against the Jets when the NFL schedule begins September 11th. We'll see what Lamar Jackson looks like then.
Jets quarterback has his own issues.
All right.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.